Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Asian Solidarity Collective's 5th Annual Fundraising Gala, celebrating community through reflection and resistance. I'm Erica Katayama, and I'm an active member on ASC's fundraising committee. My pronouns are she, her. Today, I'm wearing a floral printed dress, and I have long, dark brown hair, and I'm sitting in front of a branded ASC Gala event virtual background. We are here today to celebrate 5 years of resistance as we raise funds to sustain our work for the next 5 years to come. As an Asian-led grassroots organization in San Diego, we rely on the support of the community to fund our efforts. And the money we raised for this fundraising gala will go towards continued accessibility services for our future events, programming, building capacity, education, and so much more. Please feel free to share your names, pronouns, location, and organizations in the chat. I want to take a moment to express immense gratitude for ASC's fundraising committee who have made this event possible. I want to acknowledge my co-facilitators for the evening, active ASC members Jacqueline, Josh, and May. Thank you to our accessibility coordinator, Melissa Kelly Colibri, our ASL interpreters, Annie Diekman and Johnny Flores Cruz, our live captioner, Darren Holyfield, our chat monitors, Pebbles and Doom, our tech lead, Dr. DJ Cotton Candy, and our slides navigator, Margaret Mimi. Before we get started, we would like to begin with a land acknowledgement. We gather today on the traditional land of the Indigenous peoples, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded it throughout the generations, including where we currently reside in Kumeyaay territory in San Diego. This calls us to commit to continuing to learn how to be better stewards of the land we inhabit and to show up as co-conspirators to Indigenous peoples for their rights and sovereignty. Thanks to our donors so far, we are at $4,529 with 104 donors. We would like to encourage folks to pass along the donation link to friends and family. It's not too late. And now I would like to pass it on to ASC's co-founder and core member, Dr. Grace Shinhei Jun, for a special announcement.
Hello and welcome. My name is Grace Shinhei Jun. I am one of the founding core members of ASC. My pronouns are she and her. I am wearing a dark teal sweater, circle wood earrings, red glasses, and have long black braids. I call into the space the love and guidance of our ancestors. I especially call upon my grandmothers, who showed me how to love deeply and to fight persistently. At this time, I am especially honored to announce to the community and introduce Dr. DJ Cotton Candy. Not only did Candy recently receive an honorary doctorate, she is also serving our community as the executive director for ASC. Under her leadership and guidance, we know ASC will continue to grow and will shift the San Diego community beyond. Thank you, Candy, for all your labor and love for this community.
Hello, my name is Dr. DJ Cotton Candy, pronouns she and they. I am a queer, disabled, femme, and gender fluid Filipinx, Asian American, DJ, artist, poet, organizer, and executive director of Asian Solidarity Collective. I am wearing a black shirt, large hoop earrings, and I'm in my music studio, office studio with my bookshelf, which you can't see because I have the background around me, with a window peeking in. As an organizer for 25 years, who has been part of different organizations in those years, I can't help but be deeply proud of Asian Solidarity Collective, and how we came to be and where we are today. When we started 5 years ago, us as co-founders who were going to actions, doing the underground work, organizing, teaching in classrooms, we always knew that we could not be the only Asians in San Diego to be called to do this work. We knew that there were more of us. See, as an organizer, I never believe that no one wants to organize, but rather I believe that people are looking for the space to organize. I believe that everyone does different forms and ways of organizing, and we just add to our toolbox, sharpening our tools to sharpen our analysis and to strengthen our organizing and our practices. This is why we need to find our political homes. Because a political home is where we teach one another, where we guide one another and teach each other how to be people who are accountable to one another and to this movement. See, this has never been about me. It has never been about us. This movement is bigger than one sole person and one organization, bigger than one organizer, because this isn't about Asian Solidarity Collective. This is about mass movement building. Asian Solidarity Collective is a part of a larger collective, the Solidarity Movement, fighting to get all of us free. We knew we needed more of us out there. We knew we needed to build our political home. In building our political home, I'm proud of the work we've done in the last 5 years. One of the most important things we do in ASC is one I am most proud of, our relationship building. While we are not perfect and know that we have much work to do in our practices of solidarity, we remain committed to learning and unlearning. Because many of us who are abolitionists, we believe in the possibilities of transformation. We believe we were all capable of growth and transformation, because we know that now is not the time we give up on each other. We can hold the complexities, the contradictions, hold change, and the multiple truths that coexist all at once. While hard, deeply, deeply hard, it's not easy. And sometimes we may need to take some time away from one another. The movement is not to be romanticized. It's never been easy, but we have hope. I hang on to the hope and the belief that we can make boundaries, feel all the complex feels because they're real. And we can also try to turn towards one another and not practice disposability, nor be carceral to one another. In a political home, while never perfect, we strive to learn and practice this. Because in a system that continues to defy us, never believe us, never hold space for us, never make space for us and out to destroy us, we must strive to believe in one another. We make space and we take space. We hold us. We got us. Because if not us, who will? We need us. And the fact that even in 1 year, even during a global pandemic, many of us continue to find one another. Since last year in March 2020, ASC membership has increased to 85% with 45 active members, 5 to 10 members that join every month, and a large base of 500 plus members and counting. While us as Asians and Asian Americans still have much work to do in undoing the ways we have been harmful and complicit, ASC's expansive membership defies the mainstream narrative that frames Stop API Hate to a watered-down message of only stopping Asian hate, that begs for a transactional, capitalistic notion of solidarity, an anti-Black framing that aligns itself with problematic politicians, a message that actually leverages a narrative that Asians are not in solidarity, as it fails to take notice to the ways in which they are continuing to be used as a racial wedge. This is a framing that we at ASC do not align with and actually pushes back against. Because for 25 years, I've seen us on the ground fighting alongside Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color communities. Ancestors have shown us the way. Transformative leaders and mentors before me have taught me, and I've seen us on the ground together in our friendships, in our love, and in all the way we continue to show up for one another. ASC's very existence actually shows that we are here, been here, and we are building off the legacy of Yuri Kuchiyama and Grace Lee Boggs. And our very large and loud existence actually proves Asians and Asian Americans in San Diego have been looking for a grassroots org like ASC, an organization that understands that all forms of oppressions are connected. One that knows that we cannot just end anti-Asian racism without ending anti-Black racism, anti-indigeneity, classism, sexism, imperialism, ableism, fat phobia, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, queerphobia, whorephobia, Islamophobia, xenophobia, to name a few. An organization that has been knowing that we must be in principled struggle, that has never been, and especially now, never the time to align ourselves with centrist, moderate, liberal, or neoliberal values, aka white supremacist beliefs, that don't care to abolish the ICE, that don't care to abolish the police, or to free Palestine. Our membership and our 5-year longevity is a message that tells you it's been time to let go of the benefiting and entanglement of white supremacy, cis heteropatriarchy. It's a message that tells you that we are here with you, ASC is with you, and we are committed to learning, unlearning, committed to doing the work, committing to setting the ego, decentering, deconditioning, decolonizing, and dismantling the ways in which we have been anti-Black, homophobic, transphobic, and all the ways we continue to perpetuate all forms of oppression. We are committed to our values and our principled struggle because we know and believe that ending anti-Black racism is also the work to end anti-Asian racism. Solidarity movement building is ending anti-Asian racism. Abolition is ending anti-Asian racism. More than ever, this is the time where we must build together, build across, build solidarity. I've said this before, and I've repeated and lifted up abolitionist Miriam Kaba in their newest book, We Do This Till We Free Us. She titled one of their chapters, Show Up and Don't Travel Alone. We need each other. So thank you for being here today, because we are here celebrating our 5 years of not just our work as co-founders or core, but our entire membership base of 500 plus people. The work you each have done. I see all of you. You were the ones that did that. We are here to honor the work of our partners, sibling orgs, our ancestors, and everyday people who are most impacted, who are on the ground resisting, fighting, existing, resting, caretaking, giving aid, loving one another, and speaking truth to power. The work also often unseen, the stories untold. We thank you, thank you, thank you. As Linda Sassour has said in past town hall that ASC co-sponsored last year, so solidarity is our survival. Thus, we must fight together for all of our freedoms, onward in celebration of our community through reflection and resistance. In one of my people's language, makibaka, agmatakot, struggle. Do not be afraid. And now I turn over to Miss Piggy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Piggy, pronouns she, her. I'm an organizer and core member at ASC. Today, I'm wearing a black shirt and I have my hair tied up in a bun and I'm wearing gold earrings. Asian Solidarity Collective is a grassroots organization in San Diego whose mission is to activate Asian American social justice consciousness, condemn anti-Blackness, and build Asian solidarity intersectionally with Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks, people with disabilities, queer and trans people of color, and all oppressed communities. Our work includes political education, community building, and collective action. Our vision is to work for the collective liberation of all communities. When Black folks are free, we are all free. To build Asian solidarity with Black, Brown, Indigenous, LGBTQIA+, and people with disabilities. To engage Asian Americans to be liberated from anti-Black racism, model minority myths, internalized colonialism, and white supremacy. To honor Asian American histories, experiences, and peoples as relational to other oppressed communities. We understand Asian American lives through a transnational and anti-imperialist framework. I will now pass it to Grace.
The shooting death of Alfredo Longo at the hands of San Diego police officers on September 27, 2016, was the catalyst for the formation of Asian Solidarity Collective. What began as a call for emergency psychiatric assistance ended in a deadly confrontation when non-PERT police officers who were not trained to handle psychiatric emergencies arrived at the scene, fatally wounding a distressed and unarmed Olongo, who was grieving the death of a friend who passed away only days prior. Previously called Asians for Black Lives San Diego, Asian Solidarity Collective emerged in the fall of 2016 in solidarity with the National Movement for Black Lives. Our group began with 5 queer and femme Asian Americans who came together to activate Asian American social justice consciousness, to condemn anti-Blackness, to identify intersectional affiliations, and to build Asian Black solidarity and solidarity with communities of color in San Diego. We continue to remain the only Asian American progressive grassroots organization that organizes with a dialectical approach of advocacy, direct action, political education, service and civic engagement with the cross-racial solidarity and intersectional framework in San Diego. We take this moment to honor our ancestors who have modeled how to be in and work in solidarity. Our gala was specifically aligned during this week to honor the birthdays of Yuri Kochiyama and Malcolm X. May we continue to be reminded of their work and how to move and build for a world free from suffering and a world practicing and embodying Black liberation and the liberation of all. I also want to thank our collaborators for being in the practice of solidarity alongside us. Next to speak in this space, I welcome another co-founder, Trin Lei, for core testimonies.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trin. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm wearing a striped black and gray dark top and have long black hair. And I've been a core team member of Asian Solidarity Collective for 4 out of the 5 years of its existence. And this is Ronan, my 7-week-old baby, wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me see. There he is. This is his first Zoom call, so but thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I remember when ASC was just a dream, Grace called the 5 of us about the need to do something as Asian Americans in San Diego about the horrific murder of Alfredo Longo by the police. We started meeting monthly, learning how to be better co-conspirators, dreaming about Black liberation, our collective liberation, and brainstorming next steps. ASC was just a dream at the time, and now 5 years later, it is a nationally renowned organization with a growing membership base. We went from having no paid staff to having a part-time organizer, to having a full-time organizer, to having 2 organizers, and now having Candy as our executive director and Ms. Piggy as our organizer. It is truly amazing all that ASC has done and all that ASC has accomplished in the past 5 years. The solidarity work, the political education, the community building, the actions and protests, and more. Finally, there is a local Pan-Asian American grassroots organization in San Diego that does organizing and advocacy within AAPI communities and beyond. So thank you all for being here, for supporting this important work. Let's continue to support ASC so that it can continue to do the work for another 5 years and for decades to come. And I want to give a shout out to Candy, to Ms. Piggy, to the core team, and to all our members. We wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Asian Solidarity Collective's Gala. Thank you for celebrating our vital and transformative work. My name is Henry Aronson. I'm a relative newcomer to ASC and an even newer member of the core. In the scant 2 years I've been involved, ASC has transformed how I understand and experience myself and how I teach. But more importantly, ASC provides me space to grow into being part of a collective of folks who are doing the right thing. Since college, I've been peripheral to organizing, minoring in Asian American studies, reading, writing, thinking about the issues, attending an action here and there. And in my capacity as a teacher, I knew my work could be part of the solution. But I only had a theoretical, if hazy, conception of the link between my work and the work of community building. Clearer on how I can bring my skill set, indeed my whole self, into alignment with the desire to work with others to imagine and transform our world. More importantly, the humans in ASC help me clarify why I do what I do, how my skills as a teacher fit into a broader movement. I now see that the way I conceive of myself and all the complexities of the multiple systems of oppression that condition us all can be a tool for change and a source of solidarity and joy. ASC gives me an opportunity where we can reflect and act collectively, an opportunity to engage in meaningful praxis, a praxis that builds on what I already know how to do in the classroom, that strengthens our capacity and purpose, and enlarges where we can contribute to our shared mission. Thank you and enjoy the program.
Suparna, you're on mute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Suparna. My pronouns are she, they. I am wearing a patterned black and white shirt with a V-neck. I have shoulder length black hair and eyebrow length bangs and a nose ring in my right nostril and a silver necklace in my neck. I identify as a queer, immigrant, parent, and survivor of violence. I have been a core member of Asian Solidarity Collective since 2019, and ASC is my organizing family, but it's beyond that. This is my community, not just in the nation states known as the United States, but especially in San Diego. I have had the honor of seeing ASC grow over the past few years, and it's been nothing short of beautiful. There is no organization that I have known or been associated with that really puts the power in solidarity across borders, identities, class, and race. ASC is bigger and more than an organization working to dismantle and also survive in the nonprofit industrial complex. It is a community. It is a community of organizers and givers and lovers and healers, and we are here to stay. In one form or the other, we will thrive beyond late-stage capitalism and into beautiful, bold liberation that depends so crucially on the liberation of Black and Indigenous people. Today, we will thrive with joy and thanks to your support. Thank you to the staff, Dr. Candy and Miss Piggy. Thanks to my comrades on the core. Thanks to the incredible members of ASC, you move mountains every day. And thank you to all of you, our family, our community, for being here, for celebrating us, and for sustaining us. ASC is the ultimate reminder that only we can save us, and we are here for collective liberation. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph or Jojo. He, they pronouns. I'm here in Southern San Diego, Kumeyaay Nation. I identify as an Asian American, as an Indigenous person, as a refugee, as a queer person, and as a person with various disabilities, seen and unseen. I came to the United States as a refugee in 1991, and that sort of molds my activism and how I work with local San Diegans who are in the refugee communities. That also intersects with my gender identity, sexuality, and abilities. I joined ASC as a core member to really push and make the intersectional approaches of what does it mean to do collaborative work with various communities, but also what does it mean to imagine a different tomorrow, imagine a different today, imagine a different yesterday. So today, as part of my presentation, I would like to read you all a small poem that I just created a couple minutes ago. We are monsters, not because we are scary, not because we are othered, not because we are in the periphery. No, we are monsters because systems of power, systems of oppression wants us to be scary, wants us to be othered, wants us to be in the periphery. But what happens when the monster calls other monsters? When monsters come together? When that which bumps in the night is actually a call, a demand, a movement? The monsters actually live on in stories, in imaginaries, in images, in reality. Monsters scare those in power, those who oppress, those who other. Monsters come together to create and demand change. Monsters come together to be monsters. Monsters are those who come from the periphery, come to the center, and make themselves known. We at ASC can be those monsters. You all can be those monsters. Let's scare those with power. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our ASC core members. That was wonderful, Jojo. Good evening, everyone. My name is May. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm an Asian woman with long black and lavender hair, wearing a yellow shirt, black blazer, black rimmed glasses, and I'm sitting in front of an ASC branded virtual background. Before we begin the show with our amazing lineup of performers and speakers, we'd like to offer just a moment of silence to honor those we've lost this past year, the organizers, the partners, the friends, and the loved ones who are no longer with us. And we do acknowledge that to attempt to put together a complete list of names would be impossible without forgetting someone. So we ask that if that folks feel free, if you're comfortable, to share the names of those you would like to honor in the chat. All right, thank you everyone for taking the time to share with us who you are honoring today. We appreciate your openness and we lift up the memory of those we've collectively lost but will always remember. And now I'm going to hand it off to Erica to get the show going.
Hi, everyone. Our first performer of the night is a performance lecturer, justice strategist, singer-songwriter, and rap activist. Aisha Fukushima founded Raptivism, a hip-hop project spanning 20 countries and 4 continents, amplifying universal efforts for freedom and justice. She is a multilingual, multiracial African-American Japanese woman who has done lectures and performances everywhere from the United States to France, Morocco, Japan, Germany, England, South Africa, Senegal, India, Denmark, and beyond. Aisha links themes such as hip hop, global citizenship, empowerment, feminism, and cultural activism through storytelling, as well as live musical performance. Please welcome Aisha Fukushima and her piece, Butterfly Poem.
Peace, salam, vaskara nanga def, what's good? My name is Aisha Fukushima, and I'm a performance lecturer, a justice strategist, founder of the global hip hop project Raptivism, as in rap activism, a facilitator, educator, poet, and I am especially excited to be joining you all here today, right now. So give it up for yourselves, little round of applause. I wanted to jump into sharing some creative flows, and as a way to set the scene, as a way to get grounded together, I want to invite us to take a few deep breaths just to get present in this very moment. So if that sounds good to you, which I hope it does, I invite you to find a comfortable seat. If you're standing, just rooting into the floor and noticing anything that is holding you up. If it feels okay for you, I invite you to close your eyes. I'm closing my eyes. If that's too intense for any reason, perhaps you just soften your gaze to the floor. Deep breath in, even longer breath out. Deep breath in, longer breath out. I invite you on your next rounds of exhale to let go of something that is no longer serving you in this moment. And on your next inhale, breathing in the love, the excitement, the good momentum that's right here, right now, in this incredible space that we share together. Continuing at your own pace, I invite us to take some big belly breaths to perhaps allow that belly to expand with your next rounds of inhale, and to relax the shoulders down your back. And when it feels good for you, I invite you to flutter your eyes open, and perhaps we'll take a couple breaths together right here in this space. Exhale any air that you might be holding on to. Deep inhale together. Long exhale. 2 more just like that. Deep inhale. Taking in the love. Exhale. Letting go of something that is no longer serving you in this moment in time. 1 more just like that. Deep inhale. And a long exhale. I invite you, as it feels good to you, to find a stretch, to find some movement in your body, to perhaps look around the room and notice your surroundings with fresh eyes. How do y'all feel? Please feel free to pop into the chat. I would love to see and hear how y'all are feeling. And if you notice any difference from the moment that we started today till this moment just now, after taking a few deep breaths in sync with one another. Yeah? Cool. So As a raptivist, as an activist, as a cultural strategist, someone who's constantly looking for ways to help promote good change in the world, for justice, for freedom, and for greater equality among many folks, my art speaks to that vibe. And so I hope that y'all will resonate with it today. This first poem that I would love to share is called Butterfly. Shout out to Mike Blankenship for the incredible keys and production on this. In the land of the free and the home of the high. How can this be the land of the free and the home of the brave when so many people live in fear? I captivate, reincarnate with an imagination state of mind. Teacher, I am more than those underestimations combined. Do you mind? I am growing here, cocooned in a cacophony of sounds and silences like ancestors' footsteps that pace with my heart. I am more than your labels make me out to be. I am more than those labels make me out to be. I am human, first and foremost. I said, I am human, first and foremost, except for when I am a butterfly, whose metamorphosis reopens the orifices of our connectivity. We are more connected than we pretend to be. Let these wings make me free as I fly on the winds of change. A new season has come. Rearranged, the old one is done, interchanged, and living as a butterfly has taught me one thing. There is no beginning or ending, only shape-shifting. So let us call this a transformation. Let us call this a reformation. My wing pattern is a blueprint for elevation, and there ain't no stopping this reclamation, constructed in a language of sounds and silences that must be read between the lines until we realize that this whole reality is constructed. The education that values one human life over another is corrupted. Migration is a way of life. I said migration is a way of life, and I float by pushing myself up on matter that I cannot see, like dreams. Shape-shift in a medium of creativity. Sometimes it's hard to be a butterfly when you were built to soar, and some try to colonize the sky. How can you divide the air? Must be hard to breathe if we don't want to share. This is the life of a butterfly, karma and samsara, birth and rebirth. I am woman and I know my worth, monarch but not imperial. I spit philosophies that ain't ethereal. I keep rising and shining, wondering, can you hear me though? I keep rising and shining, wondering, can you hear me though? So as we float, as we fly, as we flutter, the warmth of prayers that melt like butter lies over aching wounds. Erected in remembrance, stand high like pyramid tombs. This is for you, and for you, and for you, and for all of you. Hold your head high as you speak your truths. I said, birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for we, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. Ooh, and we feeling good. Give yourselves a round of applause, all the emojis, all the love. Thank you all for dropping into the chat and showing love. All of that is welcome, and I'm so grateful that we're able to cipher that right here in this space to one another. Are y'all having a good time? I hope so.
Wow, that was so inspiring. What a great way to kick off the evening. So let's give it up for Aisha again in the chat. She is such an amazing talent and voice, and we are so grateful to have her as part of our 5th fundraising gala. So thank you again to Aisha.
Please join me in welcoming our next speaker. As co-founder of the Asian American Feminist Collective, Rachel Kuo writes, teaches, and researches race, social movements, and digital technology. Her writing on race and politics has appeared in Teen Vogue, Truth Out, Wear Your Voice, and Huffington Post. She is a co-founder of the Asian American Feminist Collective. Please join me in showing some love for the amazing Rachel Kuo.
Thank you all so much for having me today. I'm Rachel Kuo, a co-founder of the Asian American Feminist Collective. Right now I have dark brown hair, it's pulled up, and I am wearing a shirt that has pink, red, and green floral prints on it. Today I am joining from Chicago, from the homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Ottawa, as well as the Menominee, Miami, and Ho-Chunk nations. I'm so excited to be able to uplift the Asian Solidarity Collective today and the work you all continue to do to build a collectively liberating world free from police, prison, and borders. So many of our movement formations emerge in the midst of crisis. The Asian American Feminist Collective had first started out as a series of events after the 2016 elections, at a moment where there were ongoing attacks on immigration, reproductive rights, the environment, and Native sovereignty, and there was and continues to be increased US militarization at home and abroad. We wanted to build a political home to imagine new possibilities, something independent from a formal organization to explore different approaches and practices for building feminist politics. In our first zine in 2018, we offered a definition of Asian American feminism as an ever-evolving mode of knowledge, politics, and practice. Since this zine, our analysis and how we ground ourselves in feminist politics continues to grow and co-evolve, and so we're constantly learning and unlearning. So to commit to growing is also vulnerable, to be willing to be open and experimental with new ideas and practices. And we'll always be shifting and growing in our political analysis, how we do our work, how we are with one another, and in relation to the communities around us. Ruth Wilson-Gilmore describes crisis as, quote, the instability that can be fixed only through radical measures, which includes developing new relationships and new or renovated institutions of what already exists. So crisis can be a time of transformation, a time for movement and creation. And additionally, she describes abolition as, quote, reorganizing how we live our lives together in the world. And so we have so much to learn and practice about how we are together, how we can better provide support, care, and safety for one another in sustainable ways. The work of solidarity to change relationships between people and systems works in service of longer-term transformations, often in the midst of ongoing crises, in the midst of grief and loss, where exceptional forms of violence coexist with slower, everyday, and less visible forms. And often these violences don't happen evenly to people, but rather at different and commensurable scales. And we've seen so much violence and death in our communities this past year, and it's been nonstop loss, grief, and heartbreak, and constant unending struggle. And at the same time, this has also been a year of hope and possibility, where movements have flourished and grown, rich with potential. At a teach-in that AAFC recently hosted on cop-free communities, Dr. Vivian Trong reminded us that while we often reference movements in the past to learn lessons, we have to understand how historic our current moment is, where abolition is a possibility in our lifetimes. I'm really inspired and energized by the work of Asian Solidarity Collective and modeling consistency and commitment to a practice of relationship building, for offering an unyielding voice in this moment that continues to commit to abolition, a commitment to ending all forms of policing, prisons, and militarism, and a refusal for our communities to be used and leveraged to expand carceral violence. Over the year, we've seen the uses of calls to address anti-Asian violences expand policing and punishment. For example, after the shootings in Atlanta, the Biden administration announced a series of actions to respond to anti-Asian violence, including law enforcement training, improving reporting systems, adding categories of crime, and building community and police partnerships. Recently, the Senate and the House have passed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, a bill that expedites police review of racist incidents, establishes multilingual online reporting tools, and expands quote unquote culturally competent public education campaigns and expands data collection, all of which funnels resources back into police. And what we know is that police are categories of violence. We know that police continue to enact racial violence against Asians and Asian Americans, from raids of massage parlors to the killings of Angelo Quinto and Christian Hall, who both had mental health crises. Mass shootings and white supremacist attacks on people of color, militarized policing, and the use of military force by the US globally are all interconnected. And so recently, this highly publicized imagery of racial attacks have depicted racism as visually brutal. And yet we have to continue to ask ourselves, what is the monstrosity of violence? Is it the pharmaceutical companies that care more about profit than distributing vaccines to India, where millions of people are dying? Is it forcing immigrant women of color who are home care workers to work 24-hour shifts, so exhausted, their bodies breaking down, but needing to work because they provide care for people who are also vulnerable, often low-income, elderly, and disabled people who need round-the-clock care? Or is it military attacks on Palestine, funded through US aid and weapons sales, where police and prisons expand settler colonial violence, where the early technologies of US reservation systems, where Native people were displaced off of secret lands, would also be the forms of enclosure that exist on the West Bank? Is it caging and disposing of unhoused, poor, formerly incarcerated Black people in the name of quote unquote not tolerating racist hate? The violence of carceral projects is to end relationships, to cut people off from community, and also foreclose the possibility of relation and alignments. These multiple arms of capitalism, imperialism, and racism are all intertwined, and we're seeking to find new modes of social and political relation that don't replicate these extractive systems. And we need to continue to resource the building of sustainable community-led alternatives through time, infrastructure, and capacity to be able to build an alternative world as a collective endeavor of visioning and practice. And so I'm grateful for everyone here and also for the Asian Solidarity Collective, not only for struggling, for fighting, but also for coming together to care for and nurture a community of resistance where we can continue to build together and imagine otherwise instead. Thank you.
Thanks to Rachel Kuo for speaking and sharing about your journey and experiences. Our next performer is an activist, organizer, and musician from Chula Vista, representing Armadillos. Please welcome Karina Cari Fras Moreno.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, my dear friends of Asian Solidarity Collective and dear friends of Asian Solidarity Collective. My name is Karina Fras Moreno, and I have the great honor of performing two songs for you, original songs, for you to just enjoy and vibe with. So this first one is called Huff and Puff.
Well, if ignorance
ignorance is bliss, then we should jump for joy. We are marvelous at playing dumb and never coy. Well, our hearts are on our sleeves and we wipe our snot on that. Then we commit snotty acts and blame it all on snotty hands. And we forget who we were, then we march outside ourselves. And if you don't love me now, I ain't got time for someone else. And this death grip on my heart is caused by my ma and pa. And everything seems backwards, but there ain't no time to huff and puff, no. No. Oh, no, no. Ain't no time to huff and puff, no. No. Oh, no, no. Ain't no, ain't no, ain't no. And this song is to be brave, easy to rap, but hard to say. It's much like blowing out the candles when you doubt the wish you made. And some memories I make, and it will cause me great heartbreak. But I try to let it out despite the random loss of faith. Oh, and what the hell is faith when it don't look like someone's face? Some say it acts as glue from where you are to where you like to stay. And with my friends keep me awake, I pretend I'm guiding the gate. Nobody's getting in or out without disclosing intent, no. No. Oh, no, no. Ain't no time to huff and puff now. No. Oh, no. Ain't no time to huff and puff. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. Ain't no time to huff and puff. No. Ain't no time to huff and puff. No. On the police, there's wolves in the streets, and they're all dressed as sheep, and their rags are so cheap. It's so easy to see they have nothing to do with protecting the peace. And we won't mind the heat while we protest police brutality. We won't stop filming, gonna let the whole world see what you're doing. You can't even count how many lives you've ruined. But I know how you sleep, you're just following their orders. I know how you sleep, you're just following their orders. I know how you sleep, you're just following their orders. I know how you sleep, you're just following their orders. I know how you sleep, I know how you sleep. Uh-oh, oops, uh-oh, oops, me ves cara de idiota, pero tú confesas después de una copa y lo dices con orgullo, que tú tomas lo que es tuyo. Oops, land snatchers, colonizers, oops, kidnappers running wild, oops, land snatchers, colonizers, oops, kidnappers running wild. And I know you're proud, but that border is as real as the lies in your mouth. But that border is as real as the lies in your mouth. But that border is as real as the I know you're proud. I know you're proud. I know you're proud. But that border is as real as the lies in your mouth. But that border is as real as the lies in your mouth. But that border is as real as the lies in your mouth. I know you're proud. Oops.
Thank you, Kati, for sharing one of your many talents. Let's show Kati some love in the chat. We're now going to pause for about 30 seconds or so to give our ASL interpreters a rest. Thanks so much.
Hi everyone, we're back. Patty, that was amazing. I have chills. Sorry if y'all can hear the airplane in the background. Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Guan. I am an Asian woman with long black hair, wearing a black t-shirt, clear rimmed glasses, round earrings, and I'm sitting in front of an ASC branded background. It is my honor to introduce our next speaker, Kim Moore. Kim is someone I personally admire and learn so much from. She's a community organizer and co-founder of the Dee Dee McClure Memorial Bail Fund here in San Diego. Kim, thanks so much for being here with us tonight. Let's give Kim a warm welcome and lots of love.
Thank you all. Hopefully you all can hear me. I just want to say good evening. My name is Kim Moore. My pronouns are she and her, and I am an organizer and co-founder of the Dee Dee McClure Memorial Bail Fund. And today I am wearing a black turtleneck with red earrings and red glasses and a mini afro, and I'm a Black woman. I am grateful to the Asian Solidarity Collective for asking me to be here with you all today, tonight, for their 5-year anniversary and fundraising gala. The theme is celebrating community through reflection and resistance. So I asked myself, how do we celebrate community through reflection and resistance? To start, I want to reflect on what our Asian siblings have been experiencing last year and this year. It is no secret that this nation has a deep history of violence against Asian people. And while this violence isn't new, we know that the former president stoked the recent flames of violence against Asians last year, and we are all witnessing it, and many of us are speaking out against it. As an organizer, I have committed myself to educating members of my community about the history of violence against Asians in the US and abroad through US imperialism. There have been a number of Black folks that have pushed back on me saying, quote, "This isn't our issue," and, quote, "Asians have a terrible history of anti-Blackness." I had to sit with that, and we all should, because this is where we must do that deep reflection. This is our issue, because liberation isn't for some. We cannot parcel out liberation. It must be for everyone. We've heard the quote too many times. None of us are free until all of us are free. And we must do away with binary thinking whenever possible and make space for holding multiple truths. Through a reflection, we know that one truth is that yes, there has been a history of anti-Blackness in Asian communities, and it has caused Black people great harm. I think often of the young and the ever beautiful Latasha Harlins, who should still be able to live her best and most full life. She was robbed of that life because of anti-Blackness in Asian communities. But here's what I also know. I also know to be true that through reflection, white supremacy is both at the root of anti-Blackness and the recent wave of historical anti-Asian violence and racism in this nation, and that is our enemy, not each other. So it is the utmost important work of Asian communities to unlearn and dismantle anti-Blackness, which is something the Asian Solidarity Collective has done a beautiful job of organizing around and modeling. So when we talk about resistance, We should be talking about resisting the isms and the ideologies that work together to create a wedge between Black and brown folks. For what good does it do to continue to allow our communities to stay at odds with each other? Who does that serve? Certainly not us, not each other. It only serves the ruling class, and they know this. So we must resist, but we must not resist one another, but this white supremacist, imperialist, patriarchal colonial project, and we must build together now and always. One of the last things I want to say is that if we want a better world, if we want a free Palestine, if we want a free Philippines, if we want a free Venezuela, if we want a free Haiti, if we want a free Colombia, if we want a free Africa and for all Black peoples to be free, if we want to join with Indigenous peoples and be accomplices in their fight for land back and true sovereignty, we must be internationalists and imperialists so that we can continue to connect global systems of oppression and fight for global liberation for all oppressed peoples. And here in the United States, it is imperative that we all work to abolish the conditions that create the need for prisons and police. And yes, this includes surveillance. For me, abolition is not just about building these new life-affirming ecosystems and tearing down carceral systems, but it is an invitation to build relationships and be in true community with one another. How else can we build this incredible, beautiful, life-affirming world we dream of without knowing each other? If you're not a part of an organization, I urge you to join one, but not just any organization. Find one that is radical and anti-imperialist and with an international lens. That is where you can find your people, your community, and a love for accountability, because we absolutely cannot replicate the same behaviors and systems that we're working so diligently to dismantle. Thank you, Asian Solidarity Collective, for doing the work, and thank you for having me tonight. Here's to 5 more years of resisting neoliberalism, 5 more years of unlearning and dismantling anti-Blackness in your communities, 5 more years of anti-imperialism, 5 more years of anti-capitalism, 5 more years of working to abolish the state, and 5 more years of radical love. 5 more years of radical change, 5 more years of beautiful and engaged struggle, 5 more years of working towards our collective futures. And I want to be clear, y'all, that 5 more years is just the floor, not the ceiling. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And as my girl DJ Cuttin Candy, well, I should say Dr. DJ Cuttin Candy says, beyond bars, beyond borders, we must protect one another from these white supremacist orders. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Kim. Your words and presence are so powerful. We learned so much from you and appreciate all that you do in the community. We hope that everyone has been enjoying the gala so far. Right now, we're going to be taking a 10-minute bio break, but don't forget to come back. When we return, we have more exciting performances and special speaker presentations. We have so much more to come. Please pass along the link to friends and family. And don't forget, everyone who registered for tonight with a donation has automatically been entered into a raffle for one of 6 awesome prizes. And we will be randomly selecting 6 names at the end of the gala. It's 7:04 now. We'll see you back at 7:14. welcome back. It's one thing to be able to talk about the work we've done and the strong relationships we've cultivated here in ASC, but it's a whole other experience to be able to show you all what we're proud of. We want to thank ASC core member Grace, who was gracious enough to put together a highlight video of our work over the last 5 years. It is such a humbling and grateful feeling to be able to reflect on the past 5 years to the present. It's been 5 years strong and many more to come. In solidarity, onward.
Hello, everyone. My name is Josh. My pronouns are he, him. I am wearing a gray t-shirt and have medium length black hair. I am honored to introduce our next performer, Dr. Akira Funahashi. Dr. Funahashi is a breathwork facilitator on the Breathwork for Recovery team, a licensed and registered occupational therapist, turntablist, and healer. Breathwork is instrumental in Akira's healing journey. Grateful for what breathwork provides her, Akira is inspired to share the power of breathwork with others who are open and ready to heal. As a transgender female, Akira has particular interests in helping others in the LGBTQ community, as well as individuals who struggle with childhood and sexual abuse trauma. Akira earned an undergraduate degree in kinesiology from the University of Cal Poly Pomona and a master's and clinical doctorate in occupational therapy from the University of Southern California. She has over a decade of experience as a clinical and school-based occupational therapist specializing in pediatrics. With over 20 years of professional and competitive DJ experience, Akira is deeply passionate about turntablism and devotes her life to the DJ arts. She is driven to fuse her love for DJing and her experience as an occupational therapist to develop new forms of expression and healing. Akira is currently completing David Elliott's Healer Training Certification Program. Her core values are education, awareness, and empowerment. Please welcome the incredibly talented DJ Akiko Love.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Special thank you to May, Dr. DJ Cotton Candy, and ASC for the invitation. I am honored to be here. Congratulations on the 5 years and continued growth. Turntablism is my love, my martial art, my life, the way I heal. I'm very grateful for it. And I'm really excited to share a scratch routine with you all. The first time I had a chance to work with ASC, I performed a scratch piece with the anime theme. If you all are familiar with Cowboy Bebop. I had a lot of fun putting that piece together. And tonight I'm going on along with the same theme. Anime again, I absolutely love anime. I pieced a Naruto-based scratch routine to perform. So I hope some anime fans out there, maybe you guys could type in your favorite Naruto character. I love Rock Lee. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and perform. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.
Summoning jutsu.
fight me? When you know you'll only die.
Because that's my ninja way.
Then as you wish. But know this, my pain is still far greater than yours!
Peace. Thank you all.
Thanks to DJ Akiko Love. We all felt the energy and appreciate you sharing your expression and love.
I am beyond honored to announce our next guest speaker of the evening. Faith Santia has been a labor and community organizer for almost 25 years. She is a founding member of the Filipino Workers Center and has worked as an organizer and union rep for various labor unions, from hotel workers in New York to healthcare workers across the state of California, and is currently the director of field operations at the Directors Guild of America. She is a representative of the Justice for Angelo Quinto, Justice for All Coalition, as well as an award-winning poet, and is on the artist roster for beat rock music. Folks, please give it up for Faith Santia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It truly is an honor to be here. I am really honored that Asian Solidarity Committee invited me to share this night with you all. So my name is Faith. I am a Filipina. I am wearing a black V-neck blouse and my long black hair is tied half up. I am using a light yellow virtual background provided by the ASC, and I am joining you all from Tongva land. When Candy invited me to speak, I was asked to talk about my journey as an organizer, so I thought I'd share a quick story. I've been officially a union organizer for over 20 years, but I started out as a community organizer. I started out as a community organizer with no intention of ever becoming a union organizer. I spent some time in the Philippines organizing with unions in the Philippines, and the unions there in the Philippines were clearly anti-imperialist and clearly militant in their demands. And after that experience, I felt like I would never become a union organizer here in the United States because I saw US-based unions as not being radical, not being real challengers to the systems that oppress people. But then one day, I found myself in a position that a lot of working people find themselves in. I was working retail. I had a baby girl who was about 2 years old at the time. I knew that I could get health care through my employer if they would make me full-time. But what I consistently saw was 38 hours a week, 37 hours a week, as opposed to a full 40, which would make me a full-time worker and a afford me health care. One night, I asked and begged for some kind of health coverage for part-time workers, and my employer provided me this option for health care. So I was excited that I got it. The first week I became eligible for that health insurance. I received my check, and after they took out the cost of health insurance for me and my baby girl, my paycheck for that entire week of work was less than $20. At some point, my daughter got very sick, got pneumonia. And so I thought I could just go to the hospital. I went to the emergency room, one emergency room. They said they didn't recognize my health insurance, that I should try another hospital. I went to another hospital. They told me that they didn't accept my insurance and I should go across the street to another hospital. I went to a Catholic hospital where they're supposed to not turn anybody away, but they turned me away and my daughter. Long story short, I realized how valuable and how necessary healthcare was and how healthcare was to all people. So after my daughter got better, I went into my job. I explained to them what I experienced, and I told them I quit. And I threw my name badge on the desk and I said, I'm not working here anymore. I'm going to become a union organizer. And that's what I did. And so when I think about the theme of tonight, reflection and resistance, what I think of is contradiction. My politics at the time, I saw US-based unions as really just the foot soldiers of the Democratic Party, never taking a position on imperialism and globalization. But my concrete conditions that I experienced as a single homeless mother at the time led me to realize that fighting for reform in a lot of ways, whether that's a livable wage, healthcare, and basic needs of survival, are valuable and important to the people that we purport to believe in, the people that we want to organize. And this idea of contradiction, I think, continues in the work that I'm doing now. I currently work with the Justice for Angelo Quinto, Justice for All Coalition, and we've experienced contradiction in our regular work. For those of you who are not familiar with Angelo Quinto, he was a 30-year-old Filipino man who lived in Antioch, who was experiencing a mental health crisis in December of last year. His family called the police because they weren't sure what to do. By the time the police came, Angelo was calm, but they restrained him using the knee to neck restraint that we're all too familiar with at this point. And his last words before he died was, "Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me." And so the family of Angelo Quinto has several demands of the city of Antioch. One, to provide body and dash cams. Two, to end the knee to neck restraint. And three, to create a 24-hour mental health response team as an alternative to police responding to these kinds of calls. They're currently working on AB 490, which is a bill that would end the use of police positional asphyxia, the knee to neck restraint. They're also working on SB 2, which creates a pathway to decertify cops with prior misconduct convictions. Now, the Justice for Angelo Quinto Coalition has different calls. We support the family, but we also believe in terminating and prosecuting the police involved in the murder of Angelo. We believe in getting violent police off the streets, that safety comes from community, not from policing. We believe in defunding the police. We are not interested in seeing more funding going to the police so that they can purchase body cams and dash cams. We want to reimagine public safety, empowering the people of Antioch, especially the most oppressed to participate in shaping what public safety looks like for their safety trainings, to protect the communities in ways that reduce harms from police. And we want real security for people. We want housing security, we want food security, we want access to education. And so many of the things that the family isn't calling for may sometimes feel in contradiction with abolition. But one of the things that I want to point out is that a lot of the reasons why the family hasn't called for the same things that the coalition has called for comes from a place of fear for their personal safety. Part of our job as the coalition is to demand, is to redirect the attention from the family, to let the powers that be know that this is not simply a small family of 4 demanding accountability, but a whole community behind them. And part of our job is to actually engage in difficult conversations as we struggle through these contradictions. An abolitionist movement is not a place anyone just arrives to. There are roads that people travel to get to this place. And our job as organizers is to be shepherds of people's awakening, to not cancel one another, but to engage in struggle and to help shepherd people towards the road of abolition. And so I want to just end my part by saying thank you to the Asian Solidarity Committee for engaging in the difficult conversations, for being shepherds of people, to walk through their anger, to walk through their frustration, to walk through their contradictions. While we may not agree on what the path is to revolution, what the path is to liberation, I hope we are all unified in our justified anger and justified belief in freedom for all. Thank you.
Wow, Faith, thank you for sharing your story and for those words. I was so busy like reflecting on what you were sharing and thinking that I almost forgot that I was up next. So thank you so much, Faith, for being here with us and sharing your story, and for all the work that you're doing. Next, I am so excited to welcome our final performance tonight, featuring one of our very own. First, I'll introduce Dr. Grace Shinhei Jun. She is a mother, wife, artist, scholar, organizer, and mover who creates and educates on the traditional lands of the Kumeyaay Nation. She directs BK Soul, an award-winning performance company that merges together movement, poetry, and live music. She is a founding core member of Asian Solidarity Collective and collaborator with Street Dance Activism. Grace received an MFA from Sarah Lawrence College and a PhD through the joint doctoral program at UC San Diego and UCI, and teaches at UC San Diego City College, and with Transcendence Youth Arts Project. Dr. Jesse Mills is an associate professor of ethnic studies at the University of San Diego and is part of Black Lives Matter San Diego. His teaching, research, artistic, and community work focus on Black studies, immigration and refugee studies, social movements, indigenous decolonization, and anti-racist philanthropy. Let's show some love for Grace and Jesse as they perform In the Morning by Nina Simone.
In the morning, when the moon is at its rest, you will see me at the time I love the best, watching rainbows play on sunlight and pools of water, iced from cold night in the morning. It's the morning of my life. In the daytime, I will meet you as before. You will find me waiting by the ocean floor, building castles in the shifting sands in a world that nobody understands. In the morning, it's the morning of my life. In the morning of my life, the minutes take so long to drift away. Please be patient with your life. It's only morning and you've still to live your day. In the evening, I will fly to the moon, to the top right-hand corner of the ceiling in my room, where we'll stay until the sun shines another day. To swing on clotheslines, may I be yawning. It's the morning of my life. In the morning of my life, the minutes take so long to drift away. Please be patient with your life. It's only morning and you're still to live your day. Minutes take so long to drift away, and please be patient with your life. In the morning, it's only morning and you still to live your day.
Thank you, Dr. Grace and Dr. Mills, for such a moving and powerful performance. Thank you both for filling our hearts with so much love and beauty.
Well, we really appreciate all of you for joining us in reflection and celebration tonight. And now we're at the moment you've probably all been waiting for. It's time to select our raffle winners. We want to give a special thanks to our raffle prize sponsors, Yasukoshi Family Farms, DJ Cotton Candy for the Abolitionist book set from Haymarket Books, Masks by Grace, and Rudy's Poetry Books, Human Catalyst, and a gift card from Snoice. Okay. Margaret, do you want to spin the wheel to figure out who our first winner is? All right, congrats to Melissa Kelly Colibri. You've won a set of face masks lovingly crafted by Grace. If you are still with us, please drop us a comment in the chat. Let's see who our next winner is, Margaret. Congrats to Brittany Essler. You've won a signed copy of I'll Fly Away by Rudy Francisco. If you're still with us, please let us know in the chat. Otherwise, we will contact you after the event. Okay, let's see. Winner number 3. Winner number 3 is Valerie Oga. Congratulations, you've won a $50 gift card to Yatsukochi Farms. Again, please drop a comment if you're here. And thanks to Yasukoshi Family Farms for this great raffle prize. Let's spin the wheel one more time. Congratulations to Trin, you've won a gift card to Snoise. Thanks to our friends at Snow Ice again for this great winner. If you're still here, please let us know in the chat how excited you are for the prize. Oh. Winner number 5 is Jean Hyun Tran. Congratulations, you've won a set of abolitionist books from Haymarket Books. Thanks to Candy again for this great prize.
Is this the last one, Josh?
Yeah, one more. Raffle winner number 6. Let's spin it one more time. And our last winner is Amy Wong. You've won a $50 gift card from Human Catalyst. Congratulations to all our raffle winners, and shout out again to all our raffle prize sponsors. We appreciate all of your support in making this fundraising gala memorable.
All right, everyone. Thank you to all our special performers and guest speakers for sharing your wisdom and talent with this community. We'd like to say thank you again to our facilitators for making this event possible and accessible to everyone. We're dropping the Act Blue donation link again in the chat one last time. So if you would like to show up for ASC and show your support beyond tonight's gala, please visit or save this link to help us reach our fundraising goals. I'm just taking a look right now in real time to see where we're at. At the end of the evening, we have raised $4,779, y'all. So thank you so much for the support. Share that link out with your friends and fam. With so much gratitude. Thank you for celebrating our 5th anniversary fundraising gala with us. ASC members, please stay on for a group photo at the end if you'd like. Everyone else, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for your continued support, and we're looking forward to having you by our side during the next 5 years to come. Good night, everyone. Be well.
And for pictures.